What is a trail angel? Trail angels are people who go out of their way to make life a little or sometimes a lot better for hikers. In this video, we will show you how we did food drops and met up with the hikers while having our own fun adventures as the boys hiked the Larapinta Trail in Australia. If you'd like to see quick clips of each of our hikes, camping, and adventures, you'll find all the links in the description of this video. We left early on a Wednesday morning in September. We planned to be angels for 8 days, meeting them for 2 food drops and leaving the third drop in a food shed for their final stretch. It was a beautiful flight into Alice Springs. We hailed a taxi to take us to pick up our 4-wheel drive caravan that we nicknamed Dusty. Then into town to stock up on supplies and have some lunch. There's some pretty interesting delicacies in the shops here. The boys bought some added food supplies and gas canisters, as you cannot take those on an airplane. We then went to the tourist information shop to get a permit to drive the road to Kings Canyon and picked up a key for the food drop sheds that are located along the trail.
This is one of the places where they have the food drop. You get the key.
After that, we checked into the Desert Palms Resort for one night and drove up Anzac Hill to look out over Alice Springs at sunset.
Alice Springs, look at that.
From there, we went to Alice Springs Golf Club for dinner. I think it was great to have this one night preparation for the boys to get all organized and ready for their 12-day trek. Early Thursday morning before sunrise, we drove out to the start of the trail, took photos, prayed with them, and wished the boys well as we watched them begin their journey into the sunrise.
Off they go into the sunrise.
The boys had decided to start their hike from the Alice end of the trail and finish up on a high at Mount Sonder. Now we had 3 days off for our own adventures in Dusty, our chariot. This day would be our longest driving day as we had decided to head out to Kings Canyon first. Along the way out, we stopped at various lookouts.
This is how you make a phone call when you're in the outback. Look at that.
Anyway, we'll be back on Thursday in the office. Okay.
We found the unsealed roads were pretty good as we drove out to Kings Canyon. We had booked 2 nights here, and we settled in and planned our time.
Look at that. Look at our lovely view.
The afternoon and evening sunset was beautiful. Rising early the next morning, we had breakfast, packed our lunch, and then drove around to Kings Canyon to start the rim walk. We're just getting started on the Kings Canyon rim walk. After the long hike, we returned to our campsite, showered, napped, and then did a short drive around towards Kings Canyon again and found the perfect spot just off the road to watch the sunset on the rim of the canyon.
Canapes while you watch the sun go down. And look at this.
And boy, did the fly nets come in handy.
Keeping the flies out.
The colors were surreal as the sun went down in front of us and the moon and stars rose behind us. On Saturday, we were due to meet up with the boys at Stanley's Chasm to bring their first food drop. We'd continued around on another unsealed road that was really good, stopping along the way at points of interest.
Is this it?
This is it.
This is it. This is it.
The crater.
It's the crater.
Meteorite crater.
The boys had arrived before us. This place had quite a bit of amenity.
Look who's doing it tough on the trail. Look at this.
And we did a beautiful walk into Stanley's Chasm.
What do you think, Greggy?
I think it's a cousin.
They especially loved being able to watch the footy that night together. How tough can it get? Sunday morning, the boys headed off in the dark with replenished supplies and heavy packs. We now had days to explore all the gorgeous gorges along the McDonnell Ranges. We bypassed Ellery Creek Big Hole as we had planned to meet the boys there in 2 days' time. So we walked in to see the Ogre Pits, which was so uniquely beautiful. And then we hiked Serpentine Gorge.
That's where the boys will camp, where that's heading.
Yeah.
Later in the afternoon, we arrived and settled into Glen Helen Resort for 2 nights. Here we enjoyed a walk.
I'm following him. We're in a maze.
And a refreshing swim.
There he goes. Whew. Does that feel good?
Plus a yummy barbecue dinner.
Okay, we got kangaroo and duck. And we're having a lovely view while we have our dinner with sunset. How good is that?
On Monday, we hiked the beautiful Mount Sonder Lookout and Red Bank Gorge.
Okay, nearly there, honey.
Really there, honey.
Boy, was it long and tiring, but oh, so breathtaking.
We are at the Mount Sonder Lookout. Wave, honey.
Again, we drove back to our campsite at Glen Helen, showered, napped, and then found a wonderful lookout just 1 kilometer up the road. Here we filmed Story Time with Susan, reading the biblical story of Moses and the brave young women who helped save a nation. We also cooked up our own barbecue dinner here and watched another spectacular sunset. On Tuesday, we got all packed up and organized.
Dad's getting all their food all nice in the sled so the mice don't get it.
Then headed out to hike Ormiston Gorge. This was one of our favorite hikes.
Now this reminds me of the Grand Canyon.
It's amazing. My head stays in the picture.
Here is where we put the final food drop for the boys.
So you drop, you get the key, and then this is the room where they keep everything and the people label their stuff.
There's a good little cafe here as well.
Oh man.
Then onto Ellery Creek Big Hole to meet and restock them with food drop number 2.
What's going on over here? Here they are.
Oh, I'm pretty tired. Yeah, big day, right?
Was it a big day?
This was a beautiful place to swim, relax, and set up camp.
Look at that. Watching the boys as they labor setting up their camp.
We all jumped into Dusty to drive 15 minutes up the road to Henley's Lookout for our final sunset dinner. It was so nice to share this time and hear about their adventures so far. I think the boys also loved a cooked dinner and the luxury of some cold drinks too. We made the most of every sunset, always spying out the perfect spot to watch the colorful display. In Psalms 19:1, it reads, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the works of his hands." Early Wednesday, the boys set off for the second half of their trek, with food drop key in hand. We then cleaned up Dusty and made our way back to Alice Springs to catch our flight home. All went well for the boys as they continued on. It was such a treat to be their trail angels. Let us know if this video was helpful to you and if it gave you some good ideas. And you can find our itinerary in the description, as well as all the links to the quick look videos of the things that we got up to as well. Thanks so much for watching.